Shane, regarding the efficiencies of having like-minded people co-located, it's not working out very well for viewers of the ABC with all the lefties co-located. Do you think there's a bias at the ABC?
You have a good day.
And you too, mate. Good on you. That's a cheerio. That's an improvement on the response I get to from some of them. Given an opportunity, I would like to have asked the panellists, given the controversy over Mr. Dutton's recent comments, who among them would like to see a greater influence of Islam in Australia? Last year I spent a month visiting Morocco and Turkey, and I found both countries to be incredibly beautiful, inhabited by millions of delightful people. But I was uncomfortable with what I regarded as the oppressive overlay of the totalitarian ideology that goes by the name of Islam. In Casablanca, we visited the Hassan II Mosque, which is a stunning structure capable of holding tens of thousands of worshippers. And according to the tourist blurb, it's the only, or perhaps one of the few, mosques which allows non-Muslims to visit. As I said, my view, and the view of many people, is that Islam is a totalitarian, supremacist ideology. A couple of years ago there was a call for interested people to make submissions to a public inquiry into issues relating to halal certification in Australia. And I thought I'd do a little bit of online research to form the basis of a submission myself. And I got on the internet and typed in halal certification, and one of the links took me to the website of something I think was called the West Australian Halal Certification Association or Authority, and the initial comment on the website was, "Islam is not a mere religion. It is a way of life with rules and manners governing every facet of life." I didn't go any further. Personally, I have no interest in taking part or being associated with an ideology that purports to create rules for every aspect of my life. It's a free country. individuals are entitled to embrace whatever religion or ideology they choose. But personally, I don't see any advantage for Australia at large to have a greater influence of such an ideology. On our trip to Morocco, we visited Marrakesh. This was 2015. And a few months ago, I noticed on one of the Foxtel channels they were going to be playing the movie The Man Who Knew Too Much with Doris Day and Jimmy Stewart. And it included a segment where Jimmy and Doris and their family visited Marrakesh, and I thought it would be interesting to see, the movie was made in 1953, and I thought it would be interesting to have a look at the movie and compare what life was like in Marrakesh in 1953 versus what life in Marrakesh is like in 2015. And there's an opening scene in the movie where the family arrives in Marrakesh in a clunky old bus and pulls up in the main square of Marrakesh. And there were donkeys carrying heavy loads. There were men dressed in traditional Arab garb. And the women were walking around in niqabs and burqas and hijabs in 1953. Well, when we were in the main plaza in Marrakesh in 2015, 60 years later, there were still women in niqabs, hijabs and burqas walking around leading laden donkeys. The men were dressed somewhat differently, but not the women. Anyone who, well, I'd ask you, does anyone see an advantage for Australia in a greater influence of Islam? Bill Thompson for Outside Insiders.